Hey everyone, Dr. Miles here. Let's be honest, relationships can be amazing, right? That feeling of love, connection, someone who gets you, it's incredible. But let's be real, relationships can also be tough. We get busy, we forget little things, we get stressed. And, before you know it, those little things become big things. That's why today, we're diving deep into 10 things you should never do in your relationship. These are the mistakes I see over and over again, the ones that can chip away at even the strongest bond. Now, before we jump in, I want to hear from you. What's the biggest relationship challenge you've faced? Hit that comment section below and let me know. Seriously, pause the video right now. I'll wait. Because your experience might help someone else watching. We're talking about lack of communication, taking each other for granted, avoiding conflict. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down each of these 10 mistakes. So, grab your partner, grab a notebook, and let's get started. All right. Let's kick things off with mistake number 1. Lack of communication. This one's a classic, right? And for good reason. It's like the foundation of a house. If it's shaky, the whole thing is at risk of collapsing. When you're not communicating openly and honestly with your partner, what happens? Resentment builds. Misunderstandings fester. You start to feel disconnected, like you're living separate lives under the same roof. And you know what? Most of the time, it starts with the small stuff. Not speaking up when something's bothering you. Brushing things under the rug instead of addressing them head on. Thinking you can read each other's minds. Those little things, they have a way of snowballing into big, messy problems. So, how can you tell if communication is breaking down in your relationship? Well, let me ask you this. How often do you and your partner really talk? And I'm not talking about logistics, like who's picking up the dry cleaning or what's for dinner. I'm talking about real, meaningful conversations. Do you share your feelings openly? Your dreams? Your fears? Or are you both just going through the motions, putting on a happy face for the outside world? Another telltale sign? Constant bickering. It might seem counterintuitive, but arguing all the time can actually be a sign that you're not communicating effectively. Why? Because often, those little arguments aren't really about the burnt dinner or the misplaced keys. They're about deeper, unspoken issues that are simmering beneath the surface. Now, the good news is that improving communication is totally doable. It takes effort, yes, but the rewards are so worth it. So, where do you start? First and foremost, make time for each other. I'm serious. Put it in your calendars if you have to. Schedule a regular date night, even if it's just 30 minutes on the couch after the kids are asleep. And when you do talk, really listen. Put down your phones, turn off the TV, and give your partner your undivided attention. Make eye contact, ask clarifying questions, and really try to understand their perspective, even if you don't agree with it. And remember, communication is a two-way street. All right, moving on to mistake number 2, and it's a sneaky one. Taking each other for granted. See, in the beginning, it's all roses and grand gestures, right? Candlelit dinners, weekend getaways, you know the drill. But as time goes by, life happens. We get comfortable, complacent, and that's not always a bad thing. Feeling safe and secure with your partner is amazing, but there's a fine line between feeling comfortable and taking that comfort and your partner completely for granted. We stop doing those little things that made each other feel special. We stop noticing the good, focusing instead on the little annoyances. And slowly, but surely, that lack of appreciation can create a dangerous distance between you. How can you tell if you're taking your partner for granted? When was the last time you complimented them? A genuine, heartfelt compliment about their character. When was the last time you did something special for them? Or have you both slipped into a monotonous routine? Another red flag? Constantly criticizing your partner. Focusing on the negative will poison your relationship. The good news is, showing appreciation doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. It's about the small, consistent actions that speak volumes. So start by making an effort to notice the good. Pay attention to the things your partner does, big and small, and express your gratitude. Did they make breakfast? Say thank you. Did they fold the laundry? Tell them you appreciate it. Did they simply make you laugh? Let them know how much you needed that. Believe me, those little acknowledgments go a long way. And don't underestimate the power of physical touch. A hug, a kiss, holding hands while you walk. These small gestures can reignite that feeling of intimacy and connection. Okay, let's tackle mistake number 3. And it's one that might surprise you. Avoiding conflict. You see, many people believe that happy couples never fight, that disagreements are a sign of a relationship on the rocks. But the truth is, conflict is inevitable. It's how you handle it that makes all the difference. Think about it. You're two unique individuals, with your own thoughts, feelings, and perspectives. It's only natural that you're not going to see eye to eye on everything. And that's perfectly okay. In fact, healthy disagreements can actually strengthen your bond. When you avoid conflict, you're essentially sweeping those issues under the rug. But guess what? They don't magically disappear. Instead, they fester and grow, leading to resentment, frustration, and eventually, a major blow-up over something trivial. So, how can you tell if you're guilty of avoiding conflict? Well, are you constantly biting your tongue, holding back your true feelings to keep the peace? Do you find yourself agreeing with your partner just to avoid an argument, even if you secretly disagree? Another telltale sign: passive aggressiveness. That's right, those sarcastic remarks, the eye rolls, the silent treatment. Those are all signs that there's unresolved conflict brewing beneath the surface. And here's the thing about suppressed conflict. It doesn't just impact your relationship. It takes a toll on you individually. Holding everything inside can lead to stress, anxiety, even physical health problems. Now, when I say fight fair, I'm not talking about screaming matches or throwing insults. I'm talking about having open, honest conversations where both partners feel safe and respected. So how do you do that? First, choose the right time and place. Don't try to hash things out when you're both exhausted or stressed. Instead, schedule a time when you can both be fully present and focused on the conversation. Second, focus on I statements. Instead of blaming or accusing, express how feel. Remember, the goal isn't to win the argument. Let's dive into mistake number 4, lack of trust. Trust is the bedrock of any healthy relationship. It's the foundation for communication, intimacy, and emotional connection. Imagine a house built on shaky ground. No matter how strong, it's always at risk of collapsing. That's what a relationship without trust is like: unstable and uncertain. When trust is broken, it creates a deep wound. So, how can you tell if trust is an issue in your relationship? Well, do you constantly find yourself questioning your partner's motives? Do you feel the need to snoop through their phone or check up on their whereabouts? Another red flag? Jealousy. Now, a little bit of jealousy is normal, even healthy, in a relationship. But if it's constant and consuming, If it's fueled by insecurity and a lack of trust, it can be incredibly damaging. And let's not forget about defensiveness. If you find that every conversation turns into an interrogation, or if your partner is constantly getting defensive and shutting down, it's a sign that there's a lack of trust in the relationship. Now, trust issues don't just magically appear overnight. The good news is, even if trust has been broken, it's not impossible to rebuild. It takes time, effort, and a genuine commitment from both partners. But it can be done. So, where do you start? First and foremost, honesty is key. If you've made a mistake, own up to it. Don't try to hide it or downplay it. Be completely transparent with your partner, even if it's painful. Next, be patient. Rebuilding trust takes time. Don't expect things to go back to normal overnight. Be understanding of your partner's feelings and give them the space they need to process and heal. And most importantly, be consistent in your actions. Words are meaningless if they're not backed up by your behavior. So, there you have it. 4 of the most common and most damaging mistakes couples make. Lack of communication, taking each other for granted, avoiding conflict, and letting trust erode. These are the things that can slowly chip away at the foundation of your relationship, leaving you feeling disconnected, frustrated, and ultimately, alone. But here's the thing. Recognizing these mistakes is only the first step. The real work, the real magic, happens when you choose to do something differently. You see, relationships aren't about luck. They're about choice. They're about choosing to show up for each other, day after day, even when it's hard. They're about choosing to see the best in each other, even when you're frustrated. And they're about choosing to grow together, to navigate the inevitable challenges of life as a team. Think about it. You wouldn't neglect your physical health, right? You wouldn't skip meals, avoid exercise, and then wonder why you're feeling run down and unhealthy. Relationships are the same way. They require attention, care, and consistent effort to thrive. So if you're seeing these mistakes in your own relationship, don't despair. Don't beat yourself up. Instead, use this as an opportunity for growth, for positive change. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these mistakes resonates with you the most? What are you going to do differently in your own relationship starting today? Share your thoughts, your experiences, your questions in the comments below. And hey, let's keep this conversation going. Share this video with your partner, with your friends, with anyone who might benefit from a little relationship advice. Because together, we can all learn, grow, and create stronger, healthier, happier relationships. Thanks for watching. And remember, investing in your relationship is always worth it.